What's going on, guys? It's your boy Atlas here, bringing you another video, and today we're going to be doing a review slash overview of the latest Overwatch patch. It just went live on consoles yesterday, as you can see at the top of the screen, July 21st. And these are the Xbox One patch notes on Battle.net, the official patch notes. And yeah, I just wanted to go over them with you guys so you know what's going on. There was a lot of changes, a few big ones, and a lot of minor to middle of the road changes, I suppose. So yeah, let's get right into it. The first thing that they list, and I'm sure all of you are aware at this point, especially if you watch my other videos, which I will have a link down below covering Ana. But Ana is a new hero that they added to the game. It's the first hero that they've added since launch, and she is a support sniper. Just a quick overview. She has a, like I said, support sniper. She can shoot her teammates to heal them, and she can shoot her enemies to deal damage. And then she has a slew of abilities that heal and deal damage and buff teammates, so on and so forth. Like I said, I made a video about this. I will put a link to it in the description if you want to learn more. The next thing are just the general updates. Players respawn more slowly during overtime. If a match goes into overtime for more than 20 seconds, the fuse will now start to burn down more quickly. So they're just trying to make overtime less of a nuisance and make it so that overtime doesn't last minutes and minutes and minutes. That's a big complaint that a lot of people have had, is that overtime lasts way too long. And increasing the respawn timers and the little overtime fuse thing that comes up, like if you don't touch the point or whatever, will burn more quickly. It's just their attempt to make overtime last not as long. And arguably the biggest change for this patch is competitive play matches can now only have one of each hero per team. And this conversation could honestly have an entire video of its own. Because that brings up so many different scenarios and changes that could happen. It makes it so that you can only have one of each hero. There's no more multiple Tracers, no more multiple Winstons when you're trying to push a point, no more 6 Torbjorns to try to hold down a location. There's so many different implications and strategies that this ruins that, and I don't know, it's very interesting. It'll add a way bigger dynamic to the game for sure. Make people think more about who they're picking and who's on their team. Moving on, hero balance updates. This is everything that they've changed about every hero, buffs, nerfs, slight changes, etc. So we'll just get going. Actually, a kind of big thing is that the self-healing abilities now charge ultimate abilities. So like Roadhog self-healing or Soldier 76's biotic field thing, I believe is what it's called, now grants charges towards their ultimate, so it charges it a little quicker. So that's kind of a big deal. So Bastion, just a slight increase to his ultimate cost. It'll take him a little bit longer to get his ultimate. That tank is kind of really strong, so and he's also a hero that has a self-heal. So I guess that's their way to balance that. They make the ultimate cost a little bit more, so he doesn't like get it ridiculously quickly if he just continuously self-heals. Some of the biggest changes have come to D.Va. It's considered by a lot to be one of the worst heroes in the game. She just doesn't have that much damage output, and apart from her ultimate, she didn't really get much accomplished. So her defense matrix, which was previously one of her abilities, the cooldown was released from 10 seconds to 1 second, and a new resource meter has been added. The meter will deplete while defense matrix is active and then recharge when it's not in use. From what I understand is that your left trigger now, will, on the Xbox specifically, will be your defense matrix, and instead of it just no matter what lasting a certain amount of time, it's if you hit left trigger, it pops up defense matrix, and if you want to use it for the entire duration, it lasts 4 seconds. But if you only want to hold it for like 2 seconds, you can, and then it starts recharging. So it's almost like holding like a block or something, and then it recharges on its own. It's not on like a ability timer. Yeah, it says it has been reclassified as an alternate fire and is now bound to secondary fire, which is left trigger. So that's a huge change. It makes Defense Matrix more available to use, and makes D.Va a better defensive character because she has more access to the Defense Matrix, which literally just soaks up anything that's coming at you. It can neutralize an entire Pharah ult. It's pretty busted. So that's a big change. And then her self-destruct ultimate cost was decreased by 15%. The explosion delay was reduced by a second, and it no longer damages D.Va. So she gets her ultimate faster, it explodes faster, and now she doesn't have to worry about getting killed by it. That's a large buff to that ult that was already kind of insane. So yeah, across the board, D.Va just got way stronger. And the developer notes here say pretty much what I was saying. She wasn't being selected as often as other tanks, and we feel that a lot of that is underperformance of her damage absorption. So they made Defense Matrix better, and the self-destruct is given a little more oomph in their terms. Moving on, Lucio's Sound Barrier ultimate cost increased by 10%. Again, that's because of his self-healing, just to make it so that he's not earning it as quickly, or too quickly, I guess would be the way to say it. McCree. His Peacekeeper now maintains full damage at longer distance, but will deal less damage at extreme ranges. This is a big deal. If any of you have been playing since beta, you'll remember that McCree never, or when McCree was first in beta, he had 0 damage drop off, and his Peacekeeper, if you could aim it correctly, was basically like a sniper rifle. And then they nerfed that to have more damage drop off, and then they nerfed his Fan the Hammer because that was too strong. So McCree's gone through a lot of nerfs and changes, but now they almost eliminated the damage fall off again, except for at extreme ranges. So at medium to even, I would assume this would take some testing, to longer distances, it's going to be full damage for McCree's pistol, and that's huge. That makes him much more viable. I would assume this is coming, well, the developer notes we can read. I was going to say this, I assume is coming because of the nerf to Fan the Hammer, and it made him almost unplayable. He just couldn't do anything. Yeah, it says, while the game does feel better following the nerf to McCree's close range damage, it left him a little too weak. So we're increasing his effective distance, making his range similar to Soldier 76. This should hopefully give players an option for dealing with pesky long-range damage like Pharah and Hanzo. So yeah, they just wanted to make him more viable, and it greatly increases his ability to counter heroes like Pharah and Hanzo, which was the point I was going to make, but they stole it from me. But yeah, McCree, big buff. You should see a lot more McCree now. Mercy. Her damage boost effect no longer stacks with bonus damage provided by another Mercy. Okay, so you can't have multiple Mercies giving you damage boost, which if you're playing competitive isn't even possible anymore because you can only have one Mercy. Her Resurrect ultimate charge cost increased by 30%, so they felt that she was earning her Heroes Never Die too quickly, so that's a slight nerf. Movement is no longer prevented during activation, so she can move around while she does it. She's no longer just going to stand there and hold her arm up and get melted. And then Guardian Angel, which is her movement that lets her fly to people, no longer has any cooldown, so she can just be flying around, moving around all the time. So her movement was increased, her ultimate charge cost was also increased. So I don't know, she got, I guess, a slight nerf, but I feel like the movement buff makes her overall buffed. The ultimate charge cost isn't that big of a deal. Yeah, so I'd say Mercy has been buffed. Roadhog, Whole Hog ultimate increased by 45%. That's because the self-heal now boosts your ultimate charge rate, so they don't want Roadhog to be whole hogging every 20 seconds, and that makes sense. Soldier 76, Pulse Rifle, spread recovery will begin after a short delay. So it's making it so that it's harder for people to like spam his assault rifle at a far distance. So what that means, spread recovery, like when when you shoot With Soldier 76, the spread of the aimer goes wider, meaning the bullet spread is wider. So this means that instead of instantly reducing when you stop shooting, it takes a little bit longer for his spread to reduce, which makes it harder for you to hit people at farther distances, which makes sense because he was kind of overpowered at range. You basically didn't even have to like tap the trigger or the mouse or whatever. You could just hold it and hit people at a far distance. And his tactical visor ultimate cost increase, that's again because of the self-healing. Symmetra turret damage reduced by 30%. Thank God! Not that Symmetra was super overpowered, but if you've watched any of my videos, I think about every video I mention how much I hate Symmetra. I hate her, I hate her, I hate her. And so that, I guess, will help with the hatred and saltiness that comes around when Symmetra's around. Torbjorn, turret damage reduced by 30%. Another nerf to Torbjorn. It just makes it so I guess you don't get melted as hard as his turrets. As hard by his turrets. Zeni, a lot of changes here. The base shields increased by 50. So now he has 200 health. And the fact that it's a buff to the shields, excuse me, I stuttered. The fact that it's a buff to his shields, not his health, is actually a big deal because he recharges his shields. So basically, until you drop below 50 health, every bit of health that you're gonna lose is just gonna come right back if you don't get damaged for a certain amount of time. So that solves the issue, or is attempting to solve the issue of his squishiness. They decreased the damage of his normal attack and increase the damage of his like burst attack where he charges up and throws one big ball. So that's okay. Wow. Orb of Discord and Orb of Harmony projectile speed increased from 30 to 120. That's a 400%. No, that's way more than. No, is it? 3 times 4 is 40. 400% increase. So those orbs are going to be flying through the air. I guess that's just to help get the healing and damage buffs to them faster, so that's a big deal. And then his transcendence speed is doubled upon activation, and the healing amount is also increased. So when you pop transcendence, you're going to be darting around like a madman, and which I guess makes it easier for you to heal multiple people instead of them having to be right around you, and it heals more. So Zenyatta, a lot of buffs. More health, faster orbs, and a pretty large buff to ultimate as well. And there is a paragraph of developer notes. Felt that Zenyatta was extremely underpowered, and these are their attempts to change it. And I think that it will help him tremendously. So overall, I'd say D.Va and Zenyatta got the largest buffs. Soldier 76 got a pretty big nerf. Symmetra Torbjorn, well, got minor nerfs. Mercy buffed, McCree buffed. And yeah, so let's see if there's anything else. User interface updates, that's not that big of a deal. And then just some bug fixes. So yeah, that's all of the juicy information in this patch. So I hope that helps you guys, and you learned a little bit today. I learned as well, because this was actually, me reading through this was the first time I've actually officially read the patch notes. I've heard of certain things happening and certain things not happening. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you want to see more content in the future, subscribe. And if you have any comments about what you've seen, who you think got buffed the best, nerfed the most, who's going to be best after this patch, etc., drop a comment down below. And also down below, I will include a link to this week's giveaway video, which I posted on Sunday. And actually, the drawing will be done tomorrow. So we got about 24 hours left before I do the drawing for that. You just gotta be subscribed and comment on that video, and you're entered. And you win a $25 Amazon gift card. Free money. Who doesn't like free money? Yeah, so I think that's about all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. And this has been your boy Atlas, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks, guys.